Speaker choice is such a massive and yet overlooked part of getting a guitar tone. So in this video, I wanted to demonstrate the same guitar, same amp settings with 4 different speakers. We've got a Celestion Vintage 30, a Celestion G12T75, a WGS Green Beret, and a WGS Reaper, all in this Marshall 1960A cab. I'm going to mic all of the speakers with the same mic in the same mic position at the same distance. I won't touch any other settings on my guitar or my amp. Let's just hear some clips. So if anything, I hope this clip makes you go and re-listen to Whitesnake's 1987 album because it's excellent. But hopefully you could hear how much of an impact on the finished product the speakers have there. The Vintage 30, the T75, the Reaper, and the Green Beret all sound wildly different, you know, within that kind of human error of where I place the mic. But it's the same mic preamp, and I tried my best to get the same distance and the same position on each speaker. Obviously, each speaker is in a different part of the cab, so it's not a like truly 100% fair comparison, but it's ballpark, and even with those settings, you can hear that things sound markedly different. Another massive factor, of course, when you're recording guitar is the mic choice and the mic preamp choice. And this is something that people always forget, especially when they're, you know, trying to work with digital modelers, or, you know, you go and buy a load box because you want to record your guitar head silently. It's like, hang on, this doesn't sound like my amp. And that's because obviously when you're in a room with an amplifier, especially like a cabinet like this with 4 different speakers, where you stand and where you listen from has such a massive impact on what you hear, whereas the microphone is listening through this tiny little window, and the microphone itself has its own frequency response and kind of filters things in another way. So I always think of the speaker, the microphone, and the mic preamp as being this like final filter on your raw guitar sound there. As for me, out of all of these, I really like the way that WGS Green Beret sounds. It's got, for this particular amp, which is like a Jose style modded Marshall, it's got that kind of era appropriate thing about it. You know, it's just got that particular character. And I also really like the V30 as well. The Reaper you could hear was pretty bright with this amp, and the T75, you know, people either love or loathe this particular speaker. I think it just kind of sits in the middle between all of these. It's one of those things where if I was recording, I would go with the Green Beret or the V30 because they've got a very defined character, whereas a T75 is a little bit in the middle of nowhere. But the beautiful thing about having a cab like this is that I can try all of those choices if I want to record an amp and just pick the one that I'm feeling the most at the time and for the particular song and for the particular musical context as well. So there you go. Don't forget about speaker choice, especially if you're trying out, you know, different amplifiers or putting amps side by side. Different amps I find suit different speakers. Speaker choice is super important. So that's a little lesson there. I'm going to leave it on this particular speaker down here and do a little bit more playing for you guys. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you're feeling like you want to leave a comment about something, why don't you tell me what your favorite speaker and mic combination is for recording guitars. See you next time.